Hello, Insani Bonani. It is just gone 7:34. Welcome to Imola. We are live for top tier Breakaway League racing. And, well, it should be a fantastic day out here in Italy. Our top tier drivers are here and ready to put on a heck of a show. And we should see some fantastic racing in prospect. Kobe is here, Seaclay is here, Zotal, Romeo, aka Mandla, Espuda, and Gabo. Seppo Temba, and look at that, his teammate Tapiso has just joined the lobby. Even Loveness is here. We're set to have a fantastic day of racing, and look forward to that. My name is Bob O'Connor, and look forward to a fantastic sprint race out here, as was the case in Tiers 2 and 3. There will be a sprint race, as you can see, 11 laps in the sprint reverse grid. So some of the drivers towards the bottom of the championship have a golden opportunity to stake their claim for a potential start among the prime positions. Who exactly are some of those drivers that have an opportunity here today? Well, the likes of Inati, Liddy T, and Shangu. But it looks like Liddy T is among the drivers ready and set to take advantage of the reverse grid situation. There is Liddy, and unfortunately, the likes of Inati and Mshengu are not quite represented on this grid. We got the heartbreaking news a couple of hours ago that load shedding had moved to stage 4 across South Africa, thus potentially impacting the size of this grid. So it's some heartbreaking stuff, but Liddy T is around, and he has a golden opportunity here, as does Espuda. Espuda currently sitting 17th in the championship. So definitely some work to do. DWAX currently sits 16th. Bad Kobe is down in P15 in the driver's standings, and Sapiso is down in P14. Loveness is 13th. So those drivers occupying, I suppose, the bottom half of the table have an opportunity here, a golden opportunity to stake their claim for points, number one, in the sprint, if they can keep the fast racers in the championship leading pack, the likes of Seaclay, of course, Seppo Temba, and Brown Boy, who will be starting towards the back of this sprint. If they can be kept at bay, then, man, it's a potentially fantastic day in prospect. Also, keep an eye on the weather. We saw, of course, in Tier 3, it was full wet tire conditions. And, well, if the weather is similarly interesting, well, we could be on for a absolutely classic sprint race and potentially feature race here. But thank you for choosing Breakaway F1. We should be having a fantastic race out here in Imola in prospect. Peace is in the comments. That will be the new show to you. Peace says, let's go back markers. Oh, yes, it's gray skies out here in Italy. Thankfully for the drivers, not a spot of rain, but the cloud cover might yet indicate something to come in the laps that we will be seeing across here. 11 laps in this sprint, and well, I for one look forward to seeing how these drivers fare. Remember, some of these guys might be towards the bottom of the grid, but there are no mugs as far as pace and skill is concerned. So do not be surprised if they make life very, very difficult for the likes of Seaclay, Teppo, Temba, Brown Boy, and Zotile, who are represented among the top half here. Even, of course, don't forget Romeo in the AlphaTauri has managed to find himself with a fairly decent points haul of late, currently sitting on 24 championship points. Romeo, who was struggling at the beginning of the season, finds himself in P8. He's now the top half of the championship. Well, how's that, Mandla? Good going for Mandla. Titus is currently P9 in the championship, and Mfundo is occupying the middle spot. But Mfundo is not represented here. The Alpine driver, of course, and partner to Zotal. He currently has 20 championship points. So to give you a sense of how that'll pan out, we will do so in a second. Let's make sure you have all the information that you need out here. And get a sense of the tire strategies as well. It looks like Loveness, slap bang almost in the middle of the pack. P6 is the only driver that will begin this sprint race on a set of soft compound tires. Now, Loveness is definitely one to watch at the start of this race. Has trademark aggression, and do not be surprised to see Loveness giving Tapiso and Ban Kobe a hard time in the beginning sectors and indeed the first couple of laps. But those soft tires will indeed fall off after a number of laps. Perhaps you could start seeing Loveness, perhaps struggling for grip around the 5th or maybe even the 6th lap out here. If you've just joined us, we're on the formation lap. They weave to the left and the right, trying to get a semblance of tire temperature into those predominantly medium compound tires. Luddy leads. It'll feel quite good for him, of course. Points have been quite hard to come by for the McLaren driver, but he has been putting in the work, getting accustomed to driving on the racing wheel, and there he comes across the chicane in that McLaren, tailed by none other than Ban Kobe, as Caboza begs for an invite in the comments section. Well, perhaps that could be forthcoming as they look to complete this formation lap. Let's see what we could do on behalf of the Caboza. See if he can find his place into this here grid. But here we are on the verge of beginning the first of 11 laps in the sprint out here in Imola. It's a track, of course, with the generous straight, a track that rewards a low downforce setting, but that can have major impact when it comes to the slower sections of the track and cornering in particular. Let's see if Lungs manages to place that Red Bull perfectly. The answer is yes. And Cicle is also well and ready to go. He starts from the back. He leads the championship, remember. Let's get a sense of how this race will begin. It is 5 lights. The lights are out. The only time South Africa look forward to lights going out. Oh, when the McLaren is spun, Liddy T, who led, has spun. He's facing completely the wrong direction, but the red is left by Esbuda. Loveness jumps 4 places on those soft compound tires, and Ban Kobe moves 2 places up to take his place in P2. He's now holding Loveness back as this battle takes shape, but Loveness has come a cropper and find himself going off track. Right now, it is Esbuda who leads this race, moving up 1 place from Ban Kobe from D-Wax, who holds on to P3, courtesy of the early drama. Tapiso finds himself in 1 place, and Romeo, aka Mandla, is currently running P5 in the Alpha Tauri. D-Wax and Mandla, P3 and 5 respectively, but Esbuda hangs on to the lead, and Cicle, who started at the back, finds himself in P11. He's, of course, looking to fight his way up this grid during this sprint race. Drama already, Liddy led, but right now he is at the back of the pack. Liddy does not like being first, says Wendell Shezzy. Oh man, he will be seething, absolutely heartbroken. Had an almighty spin to begin this race, and right now Ban Kobe has managed to build a bit of a gap as he chases Esbuda. D-Wax behind by a factor of 1.5 seconds. Oh, looks like a Ferrari Tapiso has absolutely unstuck at that chicane. He slips all the way down to P11. Oh, Teppo Temba, one of the biggest movers, definitely the biggest mover thus far. P6 for the Ferrari driver on a recovery mission, of course, having started so far at the back of the pack. Look at Brown Boy also having gained 6 places. This is a vantage point from the Ferrari driver. If you've just joined us, it's lap 2 of 11 of the sprint race. It is Teppo Temba looking to take full advantage of the absolute drama here in the first couple of laps. He chases Brown Boy, who of course will not make it easy. Brown Boy himself is on the verge of a potential fight of his life with Mandla as they come through the left-hander and the right-hander. Teppo Temba has to ease up off the throttle, of course. He does not want to hit the back of that Red Bull, but he will bide his time as these two fight. Teppo Temba will sniff for an opportunity, a semblance of the slightest chance of a potential overtake. Can he get it done? Will he get it done? Well, stay tuned, folks. Loveless, remember, started on those soft compound tires, but he came unstuck and came a cropper, if you will, and finds himself P11. Nightmare for Loveless, Letty T, and Sapito, who each have their own incident. Here comes Tempo Temba. Will they go 3 wide? No. Brown Boy goes to the outside. Oh, they make contact. Tempo Temba hits the both of them, and look at that. He gives up a place to Lungs, who goes side by side with his own teammate. Will Lungs overtake Brown Boy? Yes. Lungs is up to P5. Look at that. It's 4 places gained, and Brown Boy had to really adjust. Tempo Temba, what happened there? He went into the back of them coming into the chicane. Brake way too late to Tempo Temba, and came off the worst of those 3. Tempo Temba now down to P8. Lungs has fought his way and taken full advantage of that drama. Finds himself P5 right now. Absolutely insane stuff. Now, within Lungs' crosshairs is Mandla in the Alpha Tower. And Mandla in the Alpha Tower will see exactly how he will fare. He's keeping it nice and steady as Mandla. Gained 4 places since the start of the race. Let me just give you the tire information so you can get a sense of how these guys are faring as far as that is concerned. Meanwhile, down in P8 is Zotal, who is now battling Loveness, who's on his own trying to work his way up. Mandla to be under pressure now, says the Nucho, aka Peace. And yes, we're watching this pressure that Lungs is applying, and behind Lungs, of course, is his teammate, and Seaplay has worked his way all the way up to P7. Let's go, teammate, says the real Capoza. And this is the chicane, of course, where Tempo Temba really messed up his prospect, down all the way to P10. Let's see if Lungs can take full advantage of this situation here. But it looks like Mandla is being kept at bay from getting out of this situation by D-Wax. Or rather, I would say D-Wax is probably giving his teammate a very, very good tow. And as he does so, forcing Lungs to use his battery. But Cite goes side by side with Brown Boy, and Cite gets ahead of Brown Boy going into turn 1, squeezes in between the 2 Red Bulls. Oh no, he's yeah, Cite like the Polonian in between the Red Bulls. But as I say that, Lungs is on the verge here of overtaking D-Wax. Romeo and D-Wax, Lungs goes off the prop and hits the barrier. It's a absolute nightmare scenario. Lungs falls all the way down to P9, coming absolutely upside down, if you will, facing the wrong way, and slips out of the reckoning, leaving Brown Boy to fight it out with Seakley. Remember, the Red Bull just lost his place to the Haas driver here, who now is right on the tail of D-Wax and Gawako, aka D-Wax. Absolutely sensational recovery, or rather potential last the first challenge from Seakley. Let's see who gets a cleaner exit. It looks like it's Seakley. He's right on the tail of the Alpha Tower. You can smell the fumes. He can even get a drip of sweat from the helmet dripping out of D-Wax's helmet. Oh, Seakley is right there. He's giving absolutely nothing away. And Mandla needs to help his teammate the same way that Mandla was getting the tow from D-Wax. Perhaps he could give D-Wax a bit of a tow, but it might not be enough. Look at that straight line speed with DRS. Seakley goes side by side, and Seakley goes ahead of D-Wax going into turn 1. What about Brown Boy? He's looking to gain a piece of the action, but not quite close enough. Brown Boy tucks into the slipstream of the Alpha Tauri. Absolutely sensational racing from Tier 1. Very, of course, hard racing, but not too many overly aggressive moves and overly eager moves. Let's see now if Brown Boy can keep up with the recovery pace of Seakley, who himself is right to side by side and is past Mandla. Seakley is up into the podium places in this sprint race. He is now going to hunt Ban Kobe, and the gap between those two is a factor of just under 2 seconds. An absolutely beautiful drive from last place. Seakley finds himself P3, and now it's Ban Kobe's turn to sweat in the papaya orange McLaren. His teammate Letty T languishing down in P11. Seakley is madness, says Crash. Say Kyle M. Kize. Absolutely sensational. Beautiful stuff. Seakley Hamilton, says Man Ray in the comment section as well. Beautiful stuff. Let's look at Loveness attempting to recover, and Loveness dispatches of the Alpine of Zotal with absolute ease there, coming into the penultimate corner, and he keeps it together. 4-lap old soft tires, and it looks like he's also racked up a time penalty. Loveness not in the best of positions, but he's still going to go side by side. His red light is flashing, Loveness, but it's not going to be enough to deter him from taking the spot. It's a double overtake because it looks like Zotal going to go side by side with the AlphaTauri, and Zotal gets that move done. Tucks in between the Alfa Romeo and in front of D-Wax, who started this race so well, but slowly and surely is creeping back further and further. Now, it's Romeo versus Brown Boy in the battle for P4, as Cicle has had a 2-second gap between himself and Brakeaway. Right now, that gap is half a second. What can Mandla do? Looks like he does not get such a good exit there. The gap between Mandla and Brown Boy now about half a second. Let's catch up with this sensational drive. Cicle clawing his way up the grid, and it looks like Brakeaway's red light might be flashing here. It looks like from that beautiful helicopter shot that we saw, Cicle is weaving to the left and to the right. He can see Buddha coming through the chicane, and Cicle by now can smell the potential victory. He has about 4 or so laps of just about 4 laps or so to get this race win in the bag. 11 laps in this sprint race, that would have you know. And then, of course, if he does so, it'll be a beautiful 11-lap drive to secure his pole position for the feature race that's coming up. Right now, it is Brakeaway versus Cicle. Haas versus McLaren. Side by side they go. Cicle is giving nothing to chance, and he is ahead of the McLaren going into turn 1. Beautiful stuff. And as he does so, Brown Boy is also creeping closer and closer, trying to hang on to the coattails of the Haas there.
Brown Boy na yatotoba. Usihle maka overtake na Brown Boy yazama lapha emuva. Bheka manje uBrown Boy engazi ukuthi uzomovertake udayile. Ubanqobe mara
Yes, he is pushing indeed, and it could have been a beautiful piece of teamwork on behalf of both Red Bulls, but of course, Lungs came across, but Brown Boy goes side by side now with Brakeaway. Do they make contact? Oh no, he gets that move done. Coming into the left-hander, and Brown Boy is now directly behind Cicle. Just 1.2 seconds the gap between these two. Will Brakeaway fight it out? What does he have in the bag? Does he have anything in the tank to be able to fight it out and get that P3 spot back? Well, we'll catch up with that. It's Loveness versus Zotal again. Loveness weaves to the left, to the right, trying to get a bite out of that P6 spot. Zotal positions that car also beautifully, gets a beautiful exit out of that chicane, and Zotal looks like has been fairly circumspect with his battery power, as Loveness's battery is hovering just over the 10%. So he's going to have to be careful. Oh, has a bit of a twitch. Zotal will need no second invitation to get that move done. Meanwhile, Cicle is up into the race lead at the front of the pack. He has just overtaken this Buddha in lap 8 of 11. He started at the back. He leads. He's back in familiar territory. An absolutely sensational drive from the Haas driver. And look at that. Right now, Brown Boy is hoping to do the same and take advantage of Cicle himself. Meanwhile, Loveness versus Zotal. Zotal is still in the advantage there. No man, Cicle, says Malusi the Malusi, barely believing the masterclass that Cicle is putting on week after week, race after race, sector after sector. Cicle always has an answer for whatever the conditions are, whether it's a recovery drive or whether it's just clawing his way from the back to the front in the top tier of Breakaway League racing. Cicle is in a class of his own, and right now class is in session. Says you can't say Cicle, you can say Cicle is Verstappen, reckons Tindo in the comment section. What else is happening? Cicle should race elsewhere. He's shown that his time here is over. He's just too much, says Danuccio, aka Peace. Look at that. Zotal in the Alpine has been having a titanic tussle with Loveness, who's been hanging on here on those 7-lap-old soft tires. What can Zotal do now? He has Mandla in his sight. And it looks like Brown Boy's charge up to the top has been halted somewhat. He cannot get into the DRS of Buddha a little bit ahead. But this is Zotal versus Mandla. Can Mandla hang on here? He did so well, did Mandla, starting about almost in the middle of the pack, and finds himself now in P4. His red light is flashing, and as is Zotal. Zotal's battery power hovering just above the 10% mark. What can they do now coming into this left-hander who gets the cleaner exit? Zotal is tighter to the apex of the corner, and it's pretty much honors even here. The gap's still 3/10 between these two. Mandla hanging on in lap 9 of 11. Oh, Brown Boy, that'll cost him. That'll cost him plenty. 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings for track limit incursions. But right now, as things stand, Mandla is out of that 3-second window. So Brown Boy, by virtue of being, well, in a relative lead, can still beat Mandla on track. He's battling right now with Buddha. He tucks into the inside of the Williams, and he is through. Brown Boy up to P2, but that time penalty will cost him. Look at that gap. Cicle started at the back of the pack, but right now finds himself P1 by a factor of 4.8, 4.9, soon to be 5 seconds as he begins the penultimate lap out in the lead of this race. It is absolute daylight between the Haas driver and the following pack, that being Brown Boy and S. Buddha, remember. Let's see how they come into turn one. Cepiso racks up a time penalty there for multiple track limit incursions. We'll catch up with this battle and see exactly how S. Buddha fares. There's a yellow flag. It looks like in Sector 1, a little bit further behind this pack, but it looks like it's been cleared now, so perhaps somebody's having some spins out here. Oh, it's Buddha spins, and he sends it straight into the wall. It's a double DNF right now because it's Buddha, and Loveness has crashed out of this race in lap 10 of 11. Towards the end, he bends the Williams, sends it straight into the wall.
Amarusbuda, ekabuhlungu kanje, cabanga umuntu ekuphithu. Umuntu luyini uSibuda manje, pheka manje bonke labantu bazokhuphuka.
It's Buddha and Loveness, whose soft tires were quite literally screaming, possibly at this point. Loveness lost it in another sector of the track as we watched as Buddha send that Williams straight into the barrier. Right now, Zotown can smell a potential podium finish. It is the penultimate lap, soon to be the final lap in the sprint race. There's just 2 tenths separating the AlphaTauri and the Alpine. And there's a little bit of daylight between Zotown and Lungs, who's a further 2.5 seconds back. Zotown opens up that rear wing and sets his sights on that AlphaTauri. Look at the straight line speed relatively. Will he have enough going into turn 1? He takes the outside line. Will Zotown get ahead? Mandla has the inside line. He defends stoutly, does Mandla. And Zotown has to duck back into the slipstream. It is, no-go zone, according to Mandla, positioning that AlphaTauri perfectly and giving Zotown absolutely nothing as far as this sniff is concerned. So beautiful driving by Mandla. Zotown will have to load it up and try again. Meanwhile, Seekley has led this race for a couple of laps now. He is on his way to a sprint race win as we watch this battle between these two. Yellow flag in Sector 2 as Zotown is currently chasing Mandla. He's gonna look to get this done, perhaps as they go down the hill after coming through this here chicane, depending on the kind of exits that they can get. Oh, Mandla positions that car perfectly, did not give Zotown a chance, and look at that gap now, it's half a second. Zotown might not have enough going into this. People applauding Mandla and that stout defense in the comment section. Seekley wins this sprint race by a factor of almost it's 8 seconds from Brown Boy. And here comes Mandla for P3. Zotown is right on his tail, but Mandla will have enough to finish the line on the podium. Cross the line on the podium. It's a P3 spot for Mandla out here in Imola. Zotown finishes P4, Lungs P5, and Neville comes home in 6th. D-Wax in 7th. Liddy T is the final driver to claim a point in the sprint race. Just a single point, P8 for Liddy T. And Ban Kobe slipped all the way down to P9 outside the sprint race points. Cepiso and Seppo Temba come home hand in hand in those final 2 spots. An absolutely beautiful sprint race from our top tier drivers, but the story of the day, of course, is that absolutely beautiful, sensational drive from Seekley, fighting his way, clawing his way all the way from the back of the pack to take the top step in this year's sprint race. Beautiful stuff from Seekley, as you can see there. He claims those points. Liddy claims 1 point in P8. D-Wax gets 2 points in P7 and Nebo 3. Lungs gets 4 points. Zotow 5. Romeo Massengo P3. What a beautiful drive from the AlphaTauri driver, battling and holding his zone against all comers. 6 points for him. And Brown Boy claims 7 points, P2, and Seekley claiming all 8 points here in the sprint race. It's going to be a beautiful grid. Look at that. That is your top 10 from Seppo Temba all the way up to Seekley. That will be your grid top 10 drivers to begin the feature race out here in Imola. Beautiful stuff. If you've just joined us, you have missed an absolute humdinger, a classic, a beautiful sprint race. Looks like we'll have blue skies for the start of the feature race here. So that should be an absolutely beautiful race in prospect. Seekley's at the top of the pops. Do you reckon Brown Boy can give him some headaches? We've seen very skilled drivers have mistakes. We watched, of course, S. Buddha crash his car. Of course, now the Williams team is scrambling in the garage, just trying to, well, put something together after he sent it straight into the barrier. Yeah, let us know according to that grid whether or not you reckon Brown Boy and maybe even Mandla can surprise here and give Seaclay a proper run for his money. Let us know in the comment section. Let's catch up with those. Yeah, you were lauding the good defense there from Mandla. And, Wandal Shezi, we did show those positions gained a little bit earlier on, so sorry for that towards the end of the sprint race. Sprint races should be half of season tracks, says Man Ray. This racing is absolutely top notch. What is Tindo saying? Oh, that was close. That's Buddha. Vettel comments. That's Buddha Vettel, says Tindo. And, yeah, Tindo just losing it towards the end there. He was, Buddha, rather, losing it. He was in such a great position. Well, we're going to get another formation lap here. And also get a sense of the tire strategy before we do so. It looks like just 3 drivers have gone for the alternate strategy. Loveness at the back of the pack, Liddy in P8, and Zotal are going to start this race on a set of hard compound tires and go along compared to the rest of the pack here. Seaclay, Brown Boy, Romeo, medium compound tires. That is also the case for Lungs in P5 and Nebo in 6th and D-Wax in P7. And then, of course, Ban Kobe, the other McLaren, and the Ferrari pair of Teppo Temba and Teps will begin on those medium compound tires. Esbuda, with that heartbreaking DNF in the sprint race, is he's all set. He's all good to go, is the Williams driver. He holds the hopes of Williams on his shoulders. Kaboza, of course, not being able to take part in this feature race. So let's see what Esbuda can do here. He's going to need to keep a cool head and make sure that he can rack up some decent points out here. Esbuda, he claimed points, Esbuda, yeah, he claimed 8 points in Australia. Or rather, he finished 8th in Australia, did Esbuda. And he's missed a fair few races, has had a couple of DNFs as well. He did not finish the race in Saudi Arabia, nor did he finish the race in Monaco. So let's see how he can fare, Esbuda. A lot of pressure on his shoulders. The championship leader is looking absolutely imperious. Nobody in the top tier has an answer for Seaclay as far as race pace and as far as battling on track is concerned. But Brown Boy is there and thereabouts, and we've seen Brown Boy, the newcomer to the top tier. We've seen him give Seaclay a hell of a lot to think about as they now look to place those cars absolutely in the perfect spot. He weaves for the final time and nails that starting position, as does Brown Boy. What about Mandla? Can he nail that starting position? It looks like it. Zotal is in place. And Lungs is going to follow suit here. Ghost through the AlphaTauri, seemingly. Is that an AlphaTauri? Yeah. Finds himself in that P5 spot. Doesn't look like he's going to get that right. Liddy didn't. Seppo Temba is ready to go. Esbuda is, and Loveness is. So let's get a sense now of how these drivers will begin. Zotal left the session, disconnected perhaps. It is 5 lights. It is lights out. The only time South Africans look forward to lights going out. Seaclay gets a beautiful start in P1. But what about Brown Boy? It looks like he keeps it together. He's under pressure. His teammate Lungs is side by side. Will Lungs get this merge? No, Brown Boy hangs on and tucks behind the hat to hang on to that P2 spot. Lungs beautiful, getting 2 places at the start of this race. And D-Wax, Brown Boy has overtaken Seaclay for the race lead, coming into this left-hander through this chicane. Brown Boy, beautiful stuff. Seaclay really struggling there. Maybe Zotal can come back into the race because his Ghost is losing places. Absolutely dramatic start. Look at Seaclay. He's lost so much ground. Brown Boy is gone. Almost 2 seconds the gap now between P1 and 2. And Lungs can almost smell this potential overtake here. Beautiful stuff. Gaining 2 places, the Red Bull. And right now has Seaclay in his sights. Seaclay needs to get it together, perhaps struggling for tire temperature, but he needs to put it together. Lap 1 of 32. The gap is now 4 seconds that Brown Boy's managed to build. Look at that. daylight between Brown Boy and Cicle, who's 4.7 seconds behind. Absolutely beautiful start from the Red Bull driver, and Cicle is on a hell of a recovery drive right here as far as fighting for the race win is concerned. And D-Wax has moved up 3 places thus far. He's definitely among the top movers. Manla, D-Wax's teammate, is the person that has lost out here. What's going on with this grid here? Cicle looks to be back. Whoa, is this a glitch? Okay, it looks like the grid is not gridding. It looks like it's a hell of a glitch here. All right, we're back now. Brown Boy, is it really 8 seconds? Because as you could see, the timing tower on the left there, it was just looking absolutely crazy. There's no way that gap could be 10 seconds. That'd be absolutely crazy. Tapiso, who's retired from the session, becomes the first driver that we lose here. And looks like yellow flags all over the track. And that gap is now 12 seconds. How is that possible? Whoa, look at that, Brown Boy. 12.7, soon to be 13 seconds ahead of the pack. It's yellow flags all over virtual safety car, assumedly. Or we could assume, presumably, I beg your pardon. And, yeah, I think we've definitely got a glitch in our hands here. Tapiso, the first driver to retire his car. I'm not sure if it's because of the glitch or whether he's had a legitimate incident out here. Lungs and Sepotemba collision. That is not possible. Why are we only getting that now? Yeah, it seems we definitely might have a glitch here. So we're going to get a sense of how all of that is panning out. Yeah, because nothing is making sense here. The timing tower is just absolutely going insane here. So we're going to keep a close eye as Sepotemba comes into the pits, but somehow in still P1, we got a hell of a glitch out here. So hopefully we could get that sorted out. But it looked like Brown Boy got an absolutely beautiful race start before this lobby started doing weird things and going upside down. So we should be back with some genuine racing action in a matter of moments. Lap 332, Cicle, it says, is now back in the at the front of the pack, which of course is not accurate. So hopefully we could get this sorted out and get back to racing. But man, oh man, what a absolutely beautiful start that was to the race. Zotal glitched it, says the new gel in the comment section. Yeah, we want to see the drama, but not technical drama. We want to see, of course, these drivers duking it out and giving us some beautiful racing out here in Imola. Brown Boy led from Cicle. Zotal was kicked out of the session. Let's see if we can get this lobby sorted out properly. Right, just one moment. We're just making sure that we're getting the right information from race control, and we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you very much for choosing Breakaway League Racing. We have been in communications with race control to make sure that the race is, in good condition for us to follow proceedings properly. It's been a heavily glitched session, of course, with everyone jumping up and down in positions pretty much since the start of the lap. We do understand that behind the scenes, they're going to be looking to address this and correct it accordingly. So thank you for your patience. We're in constant comms and contact and communication with race control in that respect. It's currently lap 8 of 32, of course, in this heavily glitched session. But everything is just looking absolutely upside down since the start of this here race. One moment, just reconvening with the race control. We'll be with you shortly. Thank you so much for your patience. It's our understanding from race control that our view, of course, the spectator view, is the one that is heavily glitched. So what we're going to have to rely on really is the driver POVs to give us an accurate look at the standings. It is my understanding, of course, that this is the battle for the race lead. Seaflay is currently the driver in the lead from Brown Boy, who follows in P2. Rather, Lungs is following closely behind Seaflay over here. So that is the battle for the race lead, even though the timing tower shows us something completely different. And I'm just going to try and rejoin this lobby to make sure that things are still workable. So please give me another quick moment, and we'll be back with the action in a quick moment as we watch this beautiful shot of the Red Bull trying to battle the Haas absolutely intensely out here. Right, folks, to try and correct the issue that we're having with this glitch, I'm going to try and leave the lobby and then rejoin. And then hopefully we should get back to the action as soon as possible. We've seen Loveness is getting some time penalties. So we do apologize for the technical glitch that we've been getting. Of course, we saw that early disconnect at the start of this race, and then, well, everything just went absolutely haywire as far as our view was concerned, which is a real pity, of course. It's been a beautiful, beautiful race thus far. We've been we've been trying really to get back into a race that is properly visible for all of you. So we're just trying to get back into the session as quickly as possible. Well, right now we're at a point where we're literally trying to rejoin the race lobby and reconnect you to all the action. So we do apologize for the break in transmission as far as the race action is concerned. Yeah, it's been a hell of a glitchy day, which is so unfortunate because we've had such a beautiful racing and driving. And right now, we just want to get straight back into the session and catch up and see how C Clay is faring in his battle against Brown Boy and Lungs, and whether or not the likes of Tepo, Temba, and Tapiso can recover all the way back to the top of the pack. Um, they're going to have their work cut out for them, but pit window is still coming. Unfortunately, it looks like Tapiso and Zotal suffered network issues and disconnections, and their participation in this race, of course, was severely compromised. But right now, we're just trying to get back in as soon as possible to give you all of the action out here. So right now, you're going to have to contend with these two avatars just sitting on a couch as the one crosses their legs and want to commentate on what these little avatars are doing. One looks at his phone and perhaps talking about the latest memes coming out of Facebook.
Yo, no, kono la, yes man, kono la mami mla. Ba wana go TikTok, ya bana la out le keep phone manje. Kono is tapas bona.
Yes, they're seeing some stuff commenting on that. But listen, we don't want to see these people look at memes on the screen. We want to see some racing action. We want to see whether or not Seaclay can keep his composure and hang on here to a well, potentially memorable race win. What a string of victories it's been for Seaclay since this season has started. And well, we definitely look forward to bringing you the rest of this oh so beautiful action out there in Imola. It's been a pity. The glitches that we've had with this game, the more patches we've had to the actual game, the glitchier and less reliable it has become throughout the season. Not just our league, of course, but pretty much all racing leagues as far as the F122 game is concerned. All right, folks. It looks like a genuine struggle to get back into the action. We do sincerely apologize, but it looks like this broadcast might just have to come to an end here in heartbreaking fashion. So, if somehow things can get revived and we can get back into the action, I'll be sure to resume the action and the stream. But yeah,